Children, we go ahead to the next topic of your lesson, that is population change. Children, you see the world population has not been stable. It is increasing many folds. Okay, you can see in this graph, slowly it is increasing, and now it has increased many times. Okay, why has this happened? So if you see in the early stages, the population is growing steadily and slowly, but later on it has increased by leaps and bounds. So what was the reasons for this? Let us look into it. Children, for a long time, the population was growing steadily and slowly. This was due that large number of babies were born, but most of them died due to no proper health facilities, no sufficient food, and that is why you can see the population is decreasing. So here I have shown you a balance where due to shortage of food, the population is decreasing. Children, you can see in 1820, the population of the world was 1 billion. By 1970, it doubled up to 3 billion. In the span of 150 years, it has almost tripled. And then you see in 1999 it is 6 billion. So you see it's increasing by leaps and bounds. This is called as population explosion. Now, why has there has been such a great number of the population growth? What were the reasons for it? Children, you see the main reason for the growth of this population in leaps and bounds is because of better quality of food, sufficient food supplies, proper medicines, and due to that birth rate has increased. Yes, and then again with the same reasons, people are now living more, so death rate has reduced, so life expectancy of a person has increased. Now, what is the meaning of life expectancy? It is the number of years that an average person can expect to live. So now people are living longer, they are not dying early as it was happening earlier. So we can see the population growing by leaps and bounds. Population change means the change in the number of people during a specific time. Now, what are the factors affecting population? It is birth rate, that means the number of live births per thousand people, then death rate, the number of deaths per thousand people, and another factor which influences population change is the movement of people in and out of an area. Children, birth and death are the natural causes of population change, and the difference between birth rate and death rate is called as natural growth rate. Now, the population increase in the world is mainly due to rapid increase in growth rate. Now, if you can see this balance here, when does the population increase? When birth rate is more than the death rate, then population increases. Now, when it is stable, when birth rate and death rate are the same, population stays the same. And in the third figure, you can see death rate more than birth rate, then population decreases. This is the balance of population. Another factor for population change is migration. Now, what is migration? It is the movement of people within a country or between countries. So you can see here in this figure that if one person moves from place A to place B, so what happens to place A? Population reduces there, and when he moves to place B, population increases there. So there are two types of movements. They are called as emigrants and immigrants. Now we learn what are emigrants and immigrants. Let us understand through this figure who are emigrants and immigrants. Now, who are emigrants? I have highlighted this E. That means they are departing from the country. They are people who leave the country. And I have highlighted it. That means they are the people who arrive in a country. Now, country like United States of America and Australia have gained in number by immigration or emigration. That is, they're going there. People are going there. Whereas Sudan, which is a country in Africa, is losing its population because people are leaving that country and going to better other developed countries. Children, the general trend, international trend of migration is that people from less developed nations move to more developed nations in search of better employment. Within the country also, there is a large number of people who move from rural to urban areas, especially in search of employment, better education facilities and health facilities. So that's we see migration also impacts the population change. Children, will go ahead to the next topic of our lesson, which is patterns of population change. Now, the rate of population growth varies across the world. Although the world's population is growing, but not all countries are experiencing this growth in population. Some countries like Kenya have a high population growth, which means they both have high birth rate and death rate. But with improving health care facilities and their food quantity and medical facilities have improved, so we see the death rates have fallen, but the birth rate remains high, so there is increase in population. In other countries like United Kingdom, the population growth is slowing because both birth rate and death rate is low. So you see, we must remember, how does the population increase? When birth rate is high and death rate becomes low. Okay, and death rate normally becomes low with the kind of nutritious food that the people have and medical facilities, so people are not dying at an early age. Okay, so we don't see the same kind of population increase in all the countries across the world. In some countries it's very high, especially in countries we see which are in developing countries or underdeveloped countries, we see that happening. And but in developed countries normally the pattern of population growth is steady.